daughter is missing. She's not answering her phone. She's 8 months pregnant.
I did something horrible to this girl, took her baby, cleaned it up, hid the baby.
This is Brooke Crews, who'd been hiding a newborn baby in her apartment, along with a trail of dark secrets concealed just beyond closed doors.
We were just as shocked as everybody else.
The deeper they dug, the clearer it became that this was a planned act of evil, and the final revelation would leave everyone horrified.
He grabbed my hair, and I pushed her. I grabbed, it was either a utility knife or a blade, and I did cut her, and then took her baby out of her.
On August 19th, 2017, a chilling 911 call came into the Fargo Police Department, North Dakota, the one that would mark the beginning of one of the most horrifying cases in American history.
My daughter is missing. The lady on 3rd floor had came down and asked her if she would do like a mannequin for tailoring. She's not answering her phone. She's 8 months pregnant. She's not answering her phone. She has not been on Facebook. Is she vulnerable or what? No, this is not like her at all.
When 22-year-old pregnant Savanna LaFontaine Greywind went missing from her apartment, her mother, Norberetta, instantly sensed that something was terribly wrong.
Immediately, my heart dropped. I knew something happened to my daughter.
Savanna was last seen heading upstairs after her neighbor, Brooke Crews, had asked for her help with altering address. But when hours passed and Savanna didn't return, her father went upstairs to Brooke's apartment to look for her. That's when things started to get worse.
Crews answers the door and says, "Savannah's not here. She left." Savannah's mother then got really concerned. She eventually calls the police.
When officers reached the scene to investigate, they couldn't fathom the mystery behind Savannah's disappearance during the short walk from the 3rd floor to the basement.
Savannah's legs were super swollen and she couldn't walk around very well.
Savanna was already 8 months pregnant, which made walking difficult. Moreover, the car parked in the garage and the wallet left behind at her home pointed to one theory: Savanna never left Brooke's apartment, let alone the complex. Fearing Brooke might be involved in her disappearance, investigators made her their first suspect and decided to search her apartment.
Fargo, please.
Hi.
Sorry to bother you. Oh my God, you're tall.
I try.
Hi, my name is Brooke. So what's going on? Yeah.
We're still looking.
Okay.
At this point, she hasn't shown up or anything like
I've
that.
been wanting to ask them.
Is it possible if we take a look in your bathroom?
Yeah. You can look anywhere.
He opened cupboards. He went into the closet in the bedroom, and there was nothing there that would have aroused suspicion.
We got busy chatting. Her dad came up and said that, mom wanted to see her or call her or whatever. And she didn't call. She got up and went out. And that's the last time I saw the girl.
Brooke's apartment was searched not just once, but twice, but investigators found nothing that could place Brooke under suspicion. With no traces of Savanna found at her apartment, officers started searching for other leads.
They started to expand their search, and so now they're checking bus stations, nearby woods and riverbeds. She vanished without a trace.
Despite exhaustive searches around the neighborhood, officers found no traces of her disappearance. With neighbors offering little to go on, investigators shifted their focus to her family. It wasn't long before they uncovered a troubled history between Savanna and her boyfriend of 6 years, Ashton Matheny.
There was some difficulty between the two of them at that point. They were having some stern conversations about things that he was doing with his life, where they were going to go together.
There was more than one reason to place Ashton under suspicion. The couple's relationship had grown increasingly strained over time, and with a baby on the way, tensions between them had only worsened. In such cases, partners often become prime suspects, but the officers' suspicions deepened when they uncovered a series of disturbing messages between them. To dig deeper into the truth, they decided to investigate Ashton and brought him in for questioning.
It's going to be a tough question to answer, but had she ever slept with anyone else?
Yeah, she did. We were talking about that one time Savanna slept with another guy because my brother's girlfriend hooked her up with that guy, and I was mad about that, and I was cussing at her. I was like, I f***ing hate you because you made her do that. Like, you hooked her up with another guy, and now the other guy took advantage of her, or not. No, I said because they both did it.
According to Ashton, their relationship started to fall apart when he realized that Savanna had cheated on him with 2 other men. This gave a major alert to the investigators. Could this be the reason Ashton might have hurt Savanna?
Do you remember any of it?
No.
What you would have talked about, or?
No, that was literally the last conversation in our text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause she's like, babe, you remember calling me last night? I said no with a laughing emoji, and she said, you're too much, I can't deal with you when you're drunk. Just talked, like, try to get a reaction out of me, make me do something. And one time she did, and I told Kayla. It must have been a while ago they were arguing. This was like years, but not recently. Because this past year and a half, it's just been golden for me and her. It was our prime of our relationship, where everything was going the way we wanted it to. Everything, we're having our child was planned. We planned to have our child. She was having over watching her little nephew. She started getting baby fever. I had never been the type of person to ever want a kid, and
Where were you at on Friday?
I was in Grand Forks. I was house sitting for my mom.
Okay.
With Ashton's alibi confirmed and no other leads emerging, Savanna's family began to lose hope. Fear sank in as one question remained unanswered. What possibly could have happened to her?
They're checking for cell phone pings. Nothing. Was it possible that she had given birth and she was rushed to the hospital and then they didn't know where? It was a complete and utter mystery.
It's supposed to be a happy time for us. Looking forward to my first grandbaby. Now I don't know.
While the family remained clueless about their lost daughter, investigators pressed on in search of new leads. Not long after, officers discovered another crucial detail. Willam Hoehn, Brooke's boyfriend, had been at her apartment the day Savanna vanished. With that information, Willam quickly became their 3rd suspect. However, to bring him in for an interrogation, they needed a chance. Luckily, they found one.
Coincidentally, Willam Hoehn was in a shopping mall parking lot. He backed into another car. There's surveillance video of him getting out and having a conversation with the other driver and then taking off. That gave the reason to stop, detain, and question him.
With Willam being the only witness to confirm Savanna's presence in Brooke's apartment that day, investigators kept pressing him to reveal everything and anything he knew about her disappearance.
Smart enough to know that we're trying to figure out where Savanna's at.
Totally get that, dude.
And you know where she is right now.
I don't know where Savanna is.
You know what happened to her.
I have no idea. She left our place shortly after her dad knocked. I didn't physically see her leave our place, but I mean, she wasn't there when I come out the fucking shower.
Was there any conversation then between you and Brooke about Savanna or Savanna's dad coming up, or?
No, I started telling her about my day.
Okay. When that was, were you on your way out, on your way back?
No, because I don't remember, I don't remember a good sequence of events for everything that went down with the Greywinds. Is I wasn't there when her dad came up the next time, as I was up there when he came up there the first time, but I wasn't there when he came up there the second time. And I don't know exactly what he said, but I know he fucking pissed her the off.
Yeah.
She was going the fuck off about it, when I got back. I'm like...
With nothing substantial found from Willam about Savanna, investigators arrested him for an outstanding traffic warrant. At last, 4 days after Savanna's disappearance, the investigators got their first major break. Finally, the silence was starting to crack. They found that Willam's boss was planning to bail him out of jail, which instantly raised suspicion. Did the boss know something about Savanna? But instead, he dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming.
On Monday, I told him congratulations, because he mentioned that his wife had the baby over the weekend.
The same weekend, Savanna Greywind went missing.
What did he say exactly?
Nothing, that it was a rough week. He didn't get much detail.
At that point, the cops were just shocked. We were all shocked.
From that moment on, the doubts only grew stronger, especially after investigators uncovered a shocking twist. Brooke had a newborn baby. That changed everything. Now more suspicious than ever, they wasted no time and headed straight to Brooke's apartment with a search warrant in hand. But nothing could have prepared them for what they found inside.
Brooke's like, what? What's going on? The police are examining the home, and as Detective Swan is in the bedroom, out of the corner of his eye, he detects some movement.
And lo and behold, on the bed, between some pillows, is a tiny baby girl.
The tiny baby girl found inside weighed less than 5 pounds, but appeared healthy in every way. Whose baby was this? And where did she come from?
Nobody went in thinking they were going to come out with a living infant. It was shocking.
With everything turning into a tangled mystery, the investigators quickly arrested both Brooke and William and took them straight to police headquarters for questioning.
Sounds good. All right. Well, sounds like but yeah.
They were put in separate rooms, each facing the same team of detectives.
Sure, absolutely.
That's why
At first, appeared like she was trying to be the good Samaritan.
All I know is I was asked to take care of the baby for a short period of time, and that's what I've done. Above and beyond that, I probably should talk to her.
According to Brooke, the baby actually belonged to Savanna. She claimed that Savanna had shown up the day she disappeared and handed her the baby, asking Brooke to care for the child while she took time to sort out her life.
And I, know what's wrong, you shouldn't be crying. You should be really happy. And she was just sick of it. She felt like she was doing, pulling all the weight for the family and doing this and doing that, and wasn't with her boyfriend. Apparently he had cheated on her, and a couple of times, I guess. And without going into any details, she just said that she was sick of it and wanted to get away. I basically told her how she could break her water and induce her labor and have her baby.
Okay. How would that help her get away?
Because then she could go. She didn't want the baby.
Okay.
She wanted to get away. Didn't tell me anything about anybody she was involved with. She kept it short and sweet. I gotta get the hell away from here. It was a mistake moving back in with my mom and dad. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this baby. I need to get away. And I offered to basically distraction.
So you help her have the baby?
No, I didn't. She left, and then she came back Saturday, actually.
As the interrogation with Brooke continued, the investigators turned their focus to William for answers.
In William's second interview with the police, after they find the baby, things turn a little more dark.
The baby that's in your house, is that Savanna's baby?
I don't think so.
Whose baby is it?
I can tell you the truth.
That's when everything changed, as he revealed the most shocking information, the one that stunned even the detectives.
Who's seen one?
So messed with that. One over the floor. What hurt saying it well? This is our baby. This third thing. What did you say to her? What the?
His head is bowed, he talks quiet. Will became more withdrawn, almost as a, we're caught and we're in big trouble here.
All you know is you show up from work one day and there's a baby there.
Yeah.
So it seemed odd to you?
Very. I've been under the impression for like months now that Brooke's been expecting. Was she really pregnant? I don't know.
So your girlfriend has a baby?
Yes.
Oh, happy day. She's cleaning up a big bloody mess when you get home from work. That baby had some injuries, Will. I don't know.
I wonder if the baby's sort of vaginal. What you just told me makes no sense at all.
What I just told you is what happened. What do you guys think? I hurt this girl?
While William had already started talking, Brooke was still holding back, burying the truth under layers of dark, hidden secrets.
I don't know what he's telling you.
So this was Will. I mean, that's what this comes down to if we're going to get down to brass tacks. How much did you do? How much did he do? Did you do it all together? That's what we're talking about here.
Do what?
Take that baby.
You think I took her baby?
I think you took her baby.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, sir.
What else am I supposed to feel?
I'm sorry that you feel that way, sir.
The story that you told is not believable.
I'm sorry it's not believable. Neither is your assertion that from 1:30 until 3:30, I did something horrible to this girl, took her baby, cleaned it up, hid the baby. What?
Where was Savanna when her dad came knocking?
What am I, super freaking human?
Where was Savanna when her dad knocked on the
You
door?
know what? I could have sworn he looked and made eye contact with her.
Well, he didn't see her.
He looked right in my apartment, and you know what? Don't get me started on Greywind, because their story has changed a lot. I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't. All I know is I was given that baby to take care of, and I did. Okay then. So why am I not being charged with anything?
Because we want to hear your side.
Why am I not free to leave?
We want to know where Savanna's at.
I don't know where Savanna is with all the bullshit that I just talked.
Brooke, they're gonna find her blood in your goddamn apartment.
They're not gonna find her blood in my goddamn apartment.
They're gonna find her blood.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Will told us what happened. Yep. He told the whole damn story. He was sick. He was visibly sick, telling us what happened.
It was increasingly frustrating for the detectives as, instead of cooperating, she became defensive and even aggressive, especially when they confronted her with the truth.
You told Will a lie that you were pregnant.
No, I
and you
was
saw
pregnant.
how happy it made him.
No,
You wanted to keep him around.
that's not true.
You thought he was going to leave you.
No.
You couldn't give him a baby.
No, that's not true.
You knew what you had to do.
I thought he was going to leave me if I couldn't give him a baby?
That's Will's perspective.
Despite all the lies and drama Brooke spun, the DNA test told the truth. The baby was Savanna's. But even with that confirmed, the gruesome reality of the story was still far from being uncovered. The real question now haunted everyone. Where was Savanna? Nothing made sense until, just 8 days after Savanna's disappearance, a shocking 911 call came in that broke the case wide open.
911, what's the address of your emergency? I'm on Red River in a kayak, and we have found what looks to be a body in a bag. It's duct tape. It kind of looks like head in the water, butt hung up in the air. It smells.
A young kayaker discovered what appeared to be a human body wrapped in plastic. Immediately, the investigators' suspicion grew. Had they just found Savanna? Without wasting much time, investigators reached the banks of the Red River in Fargo, North Dakota, fearing that their worst nightmare was about to come true.
She was completely surrounded in plastic and duct tape, so you couldn't see her. It just seemed that the river would be a likely place to try to hide something.
The body was pulled out of the river at about 9:20. That body was identified as Savanna Greywind.
On her foot, there was a tattoo that said, "Too beautiful for this earth." It's our belief that the body probably was initially at the bottom of the river, and due to decomposition and the produces is what maybe brought the body to the surface and started moving it down the river.
The body was found in a gruesome condition. The way it was sealed in plastic wrap and duct tape made one thing clear. Her body had been moved and deliberately dumped into the river. All the findings strongly indicated Brooke's and William's involvement in Savanna's murder. Within a short time after the body was discovered, the couple was charged with conspiring to murder Savanna.
The state had never offered her anything but the maximum sentence. Part of her agreement was that she give us a debrief as to exactly what had happened.
Hoping to extract the truth in exchange for a lighter sentence, officers brought her in once again.
I want to say no later than a week before Savanna went missing, so a week before the 19th of August. And it might not have even been a week. There was no baby, naturally, so he and I we had words. It wasn't really necessarily knockdown, drag out like we had previously. But I told him that I thought I might need to go to see a doctor because, my mind was starting, logically, if there was something going on. And so I knew that it was probably all in my head. And he said to me that you're just going to get there and they're going to tell you that you're not pregnant. And so this was the point when I realized that, okay, so I desperately wanted a baby still.
After realizing that she wasn't pregnant, William and Brooke set their sights on Savanna's baby. What followed next was nothing short of monstrous.
A couple days after that, He mentioned Savanna. He said that he saw her downstairs on his way up. I don't know where he was coming from, work or something. And that she was, in his words, very pregnant. And then that Saturday, I did go down and get her, and I asked her to come up. For reasons that I stated for the sewing. I told myself at the time, I'm justified because I was gonna take her baby. I mean, you know, I guess was the ultimate goal.
According to Brooke, shortly after she called Savanna into her apartment, a fight had broken out over her lost cat, which she claimed had been stolen by Savanna's family.
We got into a scuffle. Like there was a scuffle. And she grabbed my hair and I pushed her. And when I pushed her, she fell and she hit her head, back of her head on the sink. And she landed right there. Like that was where it happened, was on my bathroom floor. Like her head was like right by the toilet and her feet were at the door. And so I grabbed, it was either a utility knife or blade, and I did cut her, and I took her baby out of her, and I wrapped the baby.
But Brooke's cruelty didn't stop there. Savanna was still alive when she had cut the baby out of her. However, the real horror began when Willam's role came to light, completely shocking the detectives with the true extent of the crime.
But at some point, very shortly after that, Will tries to come in the bathroom door, but he can't get the door open because her feet are there. So he opens it a little bit, and he sticks his head in the door, and she's laying there, and he goes, you know, what the fuck are you doing, or something like that. And he shut the door, and when he came back in, I moved her legs out of the way so he could get in. And when he came back in, he wasn't wearing any clothes, and he had a rope in his hand. And he put this thing around her neck and he tied it. And he says, well, if she wasn't dead before, she is now.
Brooke was charged with 3 counts, a maximum life sentence without the possibility of parole for committing murder, up to 20 years for conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and 163 days in jail for lying to law enforcement. After getting a confession from Brooke about the murder, investigators turned their attention to Willam, determined to extract the whole truth, finally exposing the true horrors of that fateful day.
You just didn't see it. The baby was like right there. A little bit, like I didn't want to go out and spend money for a crib right away because I've been trying to get caught up on rent to make sure the electric don't get shut off. Sounds good. Yeah, baby. You know, where was the bed? Like in your bed? No, like right there in the bedroom on the stand. It's a little like you should make a bed out of a suitcase is what we're going with. Like I think it was a suitcase, just like on the dresser, and that was going to be our baby bed. Sure.
After completing the couple's interrogation, investigators realized that their confessions didn't quite line up.
Brooke tells us that after the murder, that they had put Savanna's body behind the tub. There's a little panel in the linen closet that you can remove.
And we put her in the bathroom closet, shut the door. Then we got cleaned up.
Step by step, the couple continued to reveal every disturbing detail of Savanna's murder. However, despite searching Brooke's apartment several times, the investigators couldn't find a single piece of evidence that could directly link the couple to the crime.
Nothing was found in this bathroom, which is remarkable. It was an older bathroom. It was a bathroom that had tile. So one would think that if there had been blood in there, it would have seeped in and that it would have remained. But there was no indication of blood.
None of the luminol lit up. There had to be a very thorough clean job. And there wasn't a lot of time to do that because police were already up in the apartment.
Finding no traces of blood just didn't add up to the investigators, especially when everything from cutting the baby out of Savanna's womb to hiding her body in the closet behind the tub had happened right there on the bathroom floor.
By the third search, according to Brooke Crews, they had already hollowed out a dresser and placed Savanna's remains in that dresser.
We put her into this dresser. He took the face off all the drawers and then he nailed the face back onto the dresser itself.
Sure.
So that it looked
intact.
Yeah.
They showered there, they ate there, all the way either in a closet or in a dresser.
Yeah, and then when we put her in, we just lifted the hatch on the truck and tilted the dresser back, up against the bumper light, and then she just slid in. So
okay, I got it by the legs.
Yeah.
Just before the third house search, the couple had apparently removed the dresser from its place and exchanged it with a basket full of clothes.
They have what's called a consensual encounter. And in those circumstances, they're only allowed to go as far as they can with the search as they give them consent to. It's not a big apartment. There are not many spaces that you could conceal someone like that, or she could even be. We were just as shocked as everybody else.
After obtaining no clear evidence from the crime scene, investigators shifted their attention to Savanna's autopsy reports. What they found wasn't just shocking, it completely changed the story into something far darker.
The medical examiner ultimately identified the wound on Savanna Greywind's body as a crude cesarean section. And ultimately there was a cut from hip to hip that invaded the lower torso, which is where the baby was then expelled and taken from her.
The medical report revealed a 10-inch long cut on Savanna's lower abdomen.
Approximately 7 other small cuts in that same area of the body. We would probably refer to them as like hesitation marks, where she's trying to assess where to cut or maybe rethinking what she's doing. But it does indicate that there were other attempts made in the cutting of Savanna's abdomen.
Several wrong cuts were made on Savanna's body as Brooke's hands were shaking during the crime. However, it just took one clear cut at her abdomen to paint the brutal picture of the premeditated act.
Did you ever research how to do a C-section?
No, I mean, I saw it. I was obsessed with childbirth. I watched videos.
Never specifically C-section?
Right.
I think that she read about this and she had learned exactly where she needed to cut and how she needed to cut. We also found in the apartment books on things like anatomy and child rearing.
A lot of the searches that were stored on shared between both William Hoehn and Brooke Crews were very significant. How long can a baby survive when the mother dies? And can the baby die in a pregnant woman if she doesn't breathe for a few seconds?
Not only that, the report stated 2 causes of death. Savanna was either strangled to death or she died from the severe blood loss during the cut.
And the reason that strangulation could not be ignored was specifically because there was a ligature around her neck. There was nothing found internally on the autopsy that would have indicated that she was strangled other than the fact that she had this ligature around her neck.
Forensics were telling us is the rope could have been used to keep her subdued. Someone has got to keep this blood flow restricted while this meticulous cutting process that doctors go to school for years and that the body remains still, that Savanna remains still, it really couldn't have been done by one person. There was really 2 that had to have committed this.
The revelation was chilling and only pointed to one conclusion. Both Brooke and William were directly involved in stealing Savanna's body and strangling her to death. However, detectives soon realized the depth of their depravity as more disturbing truths emerged. They hadn't just targeted Savanna, but other women as well.
These 2 would have conversations about very deviant behaviors, about sexual behaviors, about kidnapping women and having sex with them.
There's also some indication that they may have used ligatures like that in some play that they engaged in.
Like in a fantasy sort of way, like a fantasy sort of way?
Yeah.
Have you talked about doing things like cutting a baby out?
That and roofing a girl and killing her and different things. His discussions with me regarding killing a girl got really bad, but I just kind of put it off to him drinking because he had a drinking problem. So I thought it would be okay. We could get away with something like this. And he felt the same way. That to me that I better have a baby. And it didn't matter how I got it.
Not just one, there were several pieces of damning evidence directly tying William to the crime. Just 3 days after Savanna's disappearance, William was caught on camera buying baby diapers and infant formula from Walmart, which strongly suggested that William knew far more than what he was letting on. In other CCTV footage, just a day after the incident, William was seen buying duct tape from the store, clearly indicating that he was well aware of the plan beforehand.
Before she went, wait a minute, he had to have purchased duct tape before because she was already in the dresser when you came up. And we didn't take her back out after she was in the dresser. So he had to have purchased it either Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. And I do know that he purchased it at the Ace Hardware store.
William Hoehn had one other child he was convicted of abusing and hadn't seen that child since that child was a young infant.
I was 100% under the impression that Brooke and I were going to have a baby that was genetically, our baby was going to come out of Brooke's womb.
To shatter the claims of Brooke's pregnancy, investigators presented several pictures of Brooke and William in public, taken shortly before the day of the incident, in court.
He knew I wasn't pregnant. I mean, he might have known like I did, like in my deluded state, that, you know, I wanted a baby so bad I had convinced myself I was pregnant.
We had images of her from various stores that she had gone to as recently as the day before Savanna Greywind went missing. It is clear to everybody that she is not pregnant.
After all the gathered evidence was examined, William Hoehn was convicted of conspiring to commit Savanna's murder and kidnapping, as well as providing false information. However, what followed was nothing close to what they'd expected.
Everybody wants to think that Brooke and I wanted to run away to the sunset with this baby, and that's not the case at all. Like, I had no part in any of the planning of this.
The question is, did he help murder Savanna?
He did purchase the tape that's consistent with the tape that was found wrapped around Savanna Greywind's body when they found her in the river.
He disposed of his bloody shoes, the towels that were used to clean up the blood, baby diapers at Walmart. And then, as if there's not enough drama that Savanna's family had to endure, still one last shocker.
We, the jury, do find the defendant, William Henry Hoehn, not guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
With justice served, Savanna's family tried to get their lives back to normal. As for Savanna's daughter, she was raised by Savanna's boyfriend, Ashton, and became a symbol of hope and strength for the family.
We have this wonderful video of the baby pointing to a picture of her mother and actually seems to recognize the picture.
Good mommy. I'm trying to make her first word mama.
The baby was living evidence of an unspeakable crime.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, क्या हाल है आप लोगों के? खैरियत है? ठीक है, सब खैरियत है, सब सही चल रहा है। और सुनाए क्या हाल है, क्या मसरूफियात चल रही है? ठीक है। और इसके अलावा ज़िंदगी कैसी गुजर रही है? ज़िंदगी में क्या हो रहा है, क्या चल रहा है, कैसी मसरूफियत चल रही है? मसरूफियत में क्या मसले मसाइल हैं और इसके अलावा क्या चल रहा है? मसले मसाइल बहुत होते हैं और मसले मसाइल चलते हैं। क्या कर सकते हैं? इसके अलावा क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या नहीं कर सकते। आवाज़ बहुत कम आ रही है, आवाज़ के मसले मसाइल हैं, मसले मसाइल भी बहुत रहते हैं, मसले मसाइल भी बहुत रहते हैं। हम क्या कह सकते हैं, क्या कर सकते हैं? मसले ज़िंदगी के रहते हैं, ज़िंदगी के मसले पूरे नहीं होते। इंसान क्या हो रहा है, क्या कह सकते हैं इनके मसाइल क्या होते हैं। ठीक है, खैरियत है, ठीक है, सब सेट चल रहा है। और ज़िंदगी कैसी चल रही है और मसले मसाइल कैसे चल रहे हैं। ठीक है, ठीक है, सब सेट चल रहा है।